How do you know when it's time to move on from something in your life? This is a very practical question, but the answer really depends on what the something in this life is. Are we talking about something about like a covenant in a marriage that's frustrating, or just a verbal commitment to a job that's become a difficult workplace, or only a concern about failing a class at school? Friends, welcome to Bible Words. I'm Pastor Dave, your host. Thanks for tuning in as we consider this honest question about direction for managing life's roles and responsibilities. Asking this kind of question before making a decision to either go or stay is really a wise step to take, so I really do appreciate the wisdom of the one asking it. What I've observed and experienced in life is that every situation we find ourselves in, always in some varying degree of percentage, involves four aspects of life: delight, duty, drudgery, and danger. So deciding if it's time to move on or stay put is going to be based on the degree these elements are in play in your situation. There are a couple of biblical words of wisdom that would be helpful as we consider this, so we should make this kind of decision, we should consider them. The first, I've always sort of referenced in Proverbs 21, says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to advantage, but everyone who is hasty comes surely to poverty." So God is cautioning us here against reacting to our circumstance and making such decisions. Why? Because quick, unplanned decisions rarely are wise decisions. You perhaps have heard someone talk about the person who was jumping from the frying pan into the fire. That's where one hasty decision normally ends up leaving the person in a much worse situation than they were before, with much more heat. But as I've already mentioned, the individual asking this question is not doing that. She is taking the wise path of the diligent who plans her decision by asking what should be considered first. So let's consider a second Bible word of wisdom, also found in that ancient book of Proverbs. "The fear of man brings a snare, but he who trusts in the Lord will be exalted." I think this verse is asking us to consider our motive for wanting to make a change. Is it fear or faith that is motivating our decision? Because decisions made from fear usually are made in haste and don't reflect the best path of wisdom. Why? Because fear becomes a snare in our lives, trapping us in folly, whereas faith in the Lord, which implies seeking out His wisdom, exalts us, suggesting that we'll be successful in our decision. So back to our question of knowing when to change our current circumstance. First, we have to ask why. Which one of our four real-life components, delight, duty, drudgery, or danger, is most likely influencing our desire to change? We'd all love, you see, to have a fairy tale life in which every aspect of what we do would always be pure delight for us, always. But our real life world, broken by human sin, it doesn't offer us that option. So asked another way, are we wanting to run from some old duty or drudgery out of fatigue or boredom, or are we ready to really run towards something new that might be even more challenging? Is our motive to move on fueled by a desire to escape duty or drudgery of an old obligation that we're bored with? Or is it a hunger to grow and develop personally with a new opportunity and challenge? See, sometimes God wants us to stay in those hard places to develop deeper character and greater trust in Him, and then things work out. It takes that continual pressure to turn that lump of coal into a diamond. Maybe God is trying to make a diamond out of you by leaving you in a circumstance where you have to trust Him more. Now, I haven't mentioned danger as our motive because that's almost a given. That if the circumstance we are in has become dangerous to our well-being, if our situation has become unhealthy or unsafe, I would suggest you leave it as soon as you can, if you can. But here are the two suggested guidelines for making that change in circumstance. One, don't react. Don't make a hasty, impulsive decision. You'll probably end up regretting it more from a worse place. And two, instead be wise and think about the why of your motives for wanting a change. Don't make a decision out of fear unless, of course, it is a fear for your safety, and then decide immediately, because God's not calling you to be unsafe in that regard. Friends, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to and share Bible Words with your friends. Let me know if you have any further questions about this life decision making, because we can expand our discussion on this topic. See you next week.